This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out here have the Big 8 perfect.
Middle school basketball and shoot in his mind. Coming from the heart of God, on air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That is right. A happy Thursday to you and yours. Thanks for finding us on the stream here at 93.7 The Ticket. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter is where you are watching and hearing the show. The Royals are on terrestrial radio right now, so Strick and I are on the stream. Jay and Kenny for Old School should be back on the air, but for now, you are finding us on the stream. Again, give us a like, give us a follow, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff to make sure you don't miss anything from the ticket any day. That's the best way to stay up to date with what's going on, with shows are on the air. Make sure you again, like, follow. It's free to you. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate it in advance, and we appreciate you, our blockheads, for tuning in every single day. We also appreciate Mary Ellen's, Charles and his crew down cooking up the best food for your soul.
I've got to take a pause. Even though I support everything going on, I'm on a special hiatus on training and certain things I can eat. As succulent and as tasty as Mary Ellen's is, as I get this started for at least 3 weeks, I can't touch it. Oof. I know, bro. Oof. It's killing me.
So that gives
I can't even eat the good eats that we're gonna get on Friday.
Oh,
I can't do it.
That's a bummer.
It's a bummer.
So that gives our listeners two options. Number one, either go to Mary Ellen's, get the food, and say, I'm eating this for Stricky. He can't.
Please.
I'm doing it for him. Or what you do is you go to Mary Ellen's.
And just tell me how good it tastes.
You eat it. You tweet at Strick and say, hey, look what I'm eating, what you're not eating.
eStrick20, tweet me. Go down there, tell Charles, take a picture with him, and take a picture of your food and just let me just drool over it. Like I'm, just wishful thinking, in my dreams, like I'm really eating it and I just can't touch it. But that's okay.
Touch your finger to the picture long enough, you might absorb some of it.
I'm going to be hitting the ball long like Jake Sorensen this summer, so I've got to get right. Plus, I'm refereeing again, as we talked about.
Right.
I don't want to look like I'm a doughboy. I don't want to look like you remember Are you old enough to remember the Pillsbury Doughboy commercials?
I know the Pillsbury Doughboy.
The ones where they touch him in his belly, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I don't want to be out there looking like that.
Better chubby character, Pillsbury Doughboy or Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Man, Stay Puft. The cutest one is Pillsbury Doughboy.
Sure.
But the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, oh my gosh, bro. He was so cool to me. I hate they burned him up.
I know.
Made him into a s'mores. I hate they did that to him. He should have been able to just, run roughshod all over the city.
Let him live his life.
Let him live his life, man. He was living his best life. Man, they burned him up. Okay.
You can at least toast him without burning it.
The ghost, the little ghost, chubby ghost thing that eats all the hot dogs, he was funny to me too. I liked him.
Yeah.
I thought he was cool.
Again, let him live. Cause a little bit of havoc.
Why they put him in the little
chaos.
Thing? Yeah, man. Don't shoot him with the little shockers.
Bust up the Ghostbusters is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Plenty to get to on the show today. We'll talk some Major League Baseball pitch clock violations. NBA next segment. Andrew Wiggins back for the playoffs for Golden State. How does he change them? NBA MVP race as well. What are the odds saying? Who deserves to win it? Who has the best case? We'll get into that. We will still play the shootout with Strick. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line. Masters trivia. If you know your golf, that's the topic today.
A little bit. I mean, I actually love golf. I love playing. I think if I was my dad, I'd probably be super dope at it because my dad sits for hours and just watches tournaments. I can't do it. I have so much else going on.
Oh, I'm with you. Then hour two, kind of a Husker grab bag. Thoughts from Matt Rule after practice today. We'll get into those. And then some Husker basketball transfer portal targets. Who are some of those guys that are now on the market that Nebraska has interest in, or in one case, a guy that's off the market. We'll get to that. We will also call up Andrew Alex. We weren't able to catch up with him last week. He was traveling. We'll get Double A's thoughts on basically everything. 402-464-5685. The numbers for you to get into the show. Strick, we lead it off with Major League Baseball. We had our first ejection due to the pitch clock. It came from a batter. It came, I don't want to say I was shocked that it was this guy, but Manny Machado, the first one who gets run for arguing with the pitch clock.
Yeah. And listen, it was funny how he tried to explain how he did it, and he just was so in the wrong. And so the argument of sorts, and it did happen to him also in spring training. So it's like, it's just one of those things where you've got to make adjustments. Now, a lot of people are like up in arms, and some people are like really bugging out. A lot of the purists are. But if you look at the analytics and where the game has gone from the 80s up until now, you're talking about some games were just under back in the day. I want to say the 70s or 80s. You're talking about an hour and 50 minutes, hour and 40-minute games, right? And for now, probably a decade or more, they've been trying to figure out how it's going to work. And they've consistently got pushback from the players on it. Mm-hmm. And the shifts are crazy. The craziest shift I think I've seen is when you had the whole infield and I think a left fielder between first and second base. I was just like, what the heck is going on, right? Mm-hmm. So, Manny and everybody's still trying to figure it out. Pitchers are still trying to figure it out. You've had numerous times to which it's happened. You've had a situation where the score is 6-6. I can't remember who was actually playing. I want to say maybe the White Sox and somebody, but there was a score where the score was 6-6, and they have that situation happen. Bases loaded, like not letting it play out. The game ends on that situation. So it's one of those crazy things. What I like about the connection, Austin, of the minor league, it's very similar to what we talk about with the XFL, the XFL, right. How you can implement certain things with the NFL, let them peek in on it, let them look in the door, see if it's something that looks good for them to be able to potentially implement. And they're doing that in the minor leagues. And so, they're testing out base sizes, just all these different things that they're kind of using as a testing ground. And hopefully they can find a happy medium. I really hope it comes to that.
It was in the first week that we had this first ejection. Not overly surprising. Someone was always going to have something happen. The specific incident with Manny Machado was he tried to call timeout. He put his hands up at the 8-second mark when he has to be alert to the pitcher, as the rule says, and the home plate umpire didn't give him time. So because he wasn't ready, you tried to call time, umpire doesn't see that, and that's a strike because he's not ready.
Yep.
So that's a situation where, again, the timer is about as objective as they come. They have training for when to start it, and numbers are numbers. Time is time. We know what a second is.
Yeah.
But what's subjective to some degree is what does it mean to be alert? When does an umpire think it's okay to grant the batter time? And when does he think, no, the pitcher's already started, it's too late to grant the batter time? There's that gray area that, to me, wasn't worth an ejection, but I can at least appreciate Manny Machado trying to stick up for himself.
Yeah. There's two parts that I find interesting. It's like, in anything you do, somebody's going to try to figure out. There's three. They're going to try to figure out, and I want your thoughts on them as well. Sutter Heyman text line, yours as well. Or I don't know. I don't think you guys can hear me on the radio. So on the stream, if you want to tap in on this, this is some three interesting points that I've been just observing when we're talking about Major League Baseball. Here's one. One is, in everything you do, someone's always trying to find out a workaround or some way to circumvent a loophole, right?
Yep.
Pitchers, because of the alert status that you talked about, pitchers have been trying to figure out how to take advantage of those players in their routines by becoming set earlier and ready to pitch the minute they become alert. right?
Mhm.
So the minute they look, they're throwing, right?
Yep.
They're trying to eliminate that. That's one thing that I saw was a workaround. The other one is they called a non-strike because one of the second basemen, I want to say it might have been for the Padres. It was kind of quick when I saw it, so I can't tell what team it is. But one of the second baseman had his heel. This is how freaking like penny pitching they are on it.
Mhm.
He had his heel just off the dirt because you have to be on the dirt now, right? So it's going to make great plays again happen where you got to be really creative. You got to be able to get there. If you can't get there, then
Too bad, so sad.
Too bad, so sad. That was another one. And then the last one that they figured out. So yes, the infield can't do it. The infield sometimes will go back into the short, into the short part of the outfield, and they could do that. Now what they're doing, and it's legal, is I saw where they took the left fielder, put him in that short zone area, had the center fielder and had the right fielder. So they're still working it out, still using their analytics. They're going to do everything they can. Those are three instances that I saw that were pretty funny.
And you can't blame teams for looking for loopholes. I think they took so long to implement some of this to make sure they got as many of those out as they could.
Yeah.
And that's where, especially when the rules are new, like they are this year, to me, that's when you have to be strictest.
Yeah.
Because if you let teams get away with it now, just imagine what they're going to do in a couple of years.
Austin, that's what's been the problem. So the problem has been, and you even have Big Papi talking about it. Big Papi was basically talking about, because there was a rule that they had to where you had to leave your foot in the box.
Yep.
And he's like, nah, we're not doing that. So, you had situations where it kind of stuck to it, then they got away from it. Then it was just like, whatever. And then guys started going overboard about it. So you've got to stick to your guns. You've got to stay true to form of the rule. Otherwise it's just going to, over time, just dissipate. It's similar to what they do in the NBA. They're stickler on the rules the first week. Then all of a sudden, it kind of just starts to dissipate.
Wait, that's not a moving screen anymore?
Yeah.
Wait, I can put two hands on him now?
Yeah, that type of stuff.
One last thing to get to before we hit our first break of the show. We had our first player commit a violation as both a hitter and a pitcher in the same game. Shohei Ohtani. That's right. He did it. He achieved a violation as both a hitter and a pitcher in the same game.
Yeah, man. Ohtani. He did
Nobody
it.
else.
Nobody else. I don't think anybody else will be able to do it. You know what I mean? So
the benefit of being Shohei, I guess.
Yeah.
So as Rico tweeted at Nick and I last night, he's the answer to a trivia question down the line.
No.
I
don't want it. I gotta take it.
Oh no! Someday Shohei Ohtani will be the answer to a trivia question. No. You're not playing trivia yet. You still got 15 minutes for that.
No, I don't want it.
No worries.
I need a little more time to get my mind right.
And we're talking Masters and shootout, not baseball. So that'll put a wrap on segment one here of On the Block. When we come back, some NBA news and notes. Golden State gets Andrew Wiggins back for the playoffs. What does that mean for them? How does that change how they go about their business? And a few other NBA headlines, all that and more as we continue On the Block.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin daydreaming about how they'll spend the prize money if they win, instead of paying attention to the road. So please, when I tell you that Nebraska Lottery lotto games offer big money and big fun, keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like bright red sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a neuter, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.20 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all make models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required as they will train for the positions. However, mechanical aptitude is required. If you want to come be a part of a small business where your family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat with packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8 and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Now back to On the Block with Strickland, 9710, theticketf.com.
On the Block, Austin and Strick with you here on a beautiful Thursday in Nebraska's capital city. A little chilly yesterday, back closer to where it should be here today. The sun also shining to some degree on the Golden State Warriors as Andrew Wiggins makes his return, dealing with a personal issue, some family stuff going on for Andrew Wiggins. Strick, he was a key part of their championship team last year. To be as up and down as Golden State has been at home and on the road without Andrew Wiggins, but still to be firmly in the playoff picture, to me is pretty deserving of a pat on the back for the team.
First and foremost, shout out to Andrew Wiggins. His father has been dealing with some form of an ailment. Let's even just shout out as well the Golden State Warriors as an organization. The reason being is when you look at them as an organization, the fact that they didn't put any pressure, they didn't put a timetable, they didn't express a hurt. Now they're in a situation where they were fighting for their lives at one point, right? Mm-hmm. But what's scary about what I'm seeing is they're now just going to get Wiggins back, who was an integral part on what they were able to do. Now, they're down 2-1 to the Celtics. Celtics have home court advantage.
Stole one on the road.
You stole one on the first one in Golden State. They steal. So you're in a troubling situation. I think on that third game, it was a struggle for Steph Curry. Didn't play very well, but Andrew was very consistent throughout. 20 points in the first game, struggled in the second game with only 11 points. 18, 17, 26, and 18. Just consistent across the board. But also what he did for that team was tremendous defense on both Tatum and Brown.
All series long.
I mean, the fact that he was able to score at the clips that he did and was able to as well play that kind of defense. And on top of that, we're looking at 40 minutes. 40 minutes in game 3, 43 minutes in game 4, 43 minutes in game 5, 44 in game 6. So you're talking about not only scoring, but when things went bad, when the team was struggling a little bit, he was a complementary piece. Even if Klay Thompson didn't show up, he was there. He filled the void. That's what I think is scary about them, averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds. But that's another killer. In games 4 and 5, he had 16 and 13 rebounds, respectively. The other piece that it may be too late to worry about that now, but I think the playoffs would still be a good time because of what he does is Gary Payton II. The reacquisition of him and the defense that he's able, to bring to that team makes them very dangerous, very scary. Now, something crazy happened to them. The Lakers taking an L to the Clippers. They were sitting at the 5th spot. They were sitting at the 5th spot, smelling good like roses. Everything was good. 2 games left to play. They've got a tough one. They got to go out to Sacramento. That's not going to be an easy one.
Nope.
Sacramento's pretty set. They could rest, but I don't think you want to. I think you want to kind of try to, stay unrusty. But yeah,
you got to secure that either that 2 or that 3.
Yeah,
because Phoenix is only 2 games behind you with 2 to go. They win them both, and then you lose both of yours. I don't know how the tiebreakers work out, but that's leaving too much to the other 81 games. So if I'm Mike Brown in Sacramento, I make sure I have at least that 3 seed locked up before I rest.
Absolutely. So you've got now the guy in the finals who is the second best scorer for you, even above Klay Thompson, in the finals, returning. Hopefully he's not rusty. You have a couple of games to kind of work him into the mix still to kind of get him back into the flow. And you just hope that the situation that's going on at home doesn't just convolute the mind and just make him not be focused on the task at hand.
Right. And Andrew Wiggins seems like a professional enough guy to not let that. But again, it's a human issue. So some of that stuff, you just can't help it because it is his dad. It means a lot to him. Took this much time off to see if he could, help to be there, be present. So clearly it's going to have an impact, but to what degree? The thing that I think helps Andrew Wiggins and Golden State out in this situation is that the Warriors' road defense has been awful.
Always.
Offense is so much about timing and rhythm. Andrew Wiggins is still a good athlete. He can still play, at least in my mind, that disruptor role on defense against other teams' wings.
Yeah.
Whatever you get from him on offense is a bonus.
Yeah.
Is he New Age Iguodala right now for them?
Yeah. That's a great relatable person to put him to. Iggy was a long time that guy for quite a while. And so you just got to be happy for him because he had so much pressure coming in. He's one of the top draft picks that was actually, which is, I think there's only 7 of them that happened. I mean, you've got to go back into the 50s. There's a few names in there, but then you talk about like, him and who else did it happen to? There was like 8 of them.
That got traded.
That they were first round. They were the first picks that got traded. He's one of those. There's like 8 of them, and I think it goes back to the 50s. It was like Barry Carroll when he was with Philly. There's a couple others. There's some big ones in there too.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up this article here.
Yeah.
Chuck Scher, Hot Rod
That's
Hundley,
one.
Joe Barry Carroll.
That's one.
You have Brad
Doherty.
Yep, Brad Doherty.
Yep.
You have Chris Webber.
C. Webb. That was one of the things that led
Wiggins and Fultz are the other two then.
And Wiggins and Fultz. Okay, there we go. So there was like 7 of them. So what was interesting to me is let's take a pause. Let me dump off this because he's one of the best coaches I played for, and there was a reason for it because of just the way he used me. He was so ahead of the curve in his thinking and process of the game and where the game was going that he was doing it beforehand and no one could understand it. Everybody was so locked into the traditional methods of the game. That's why I was a unique player. I was like a Draymond Green type-ish player before all of that began to start happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Don Nelson saw something, and if Chris Webber could have embraced it, now he ultimately ends up going to Sacramento. They have White Chocolate Bibby, and then they have Stojakovic, and they end up getting Turkoglu. They end up having a nice little.
Looks good,
huh?
Peja's kid looks good.
Oh, I haven't seen him.
He looks good. Anyways, sidebar.
But I say that to say, Don Nelson was thinking of Chris Webber just playing the center position because you can dominate the position. You can handle the ball. You can pass the ball. You have a unique skill set, but he wanted to remain in the traditional power forward mode, which led ultimately to the trade that sent him to the Bullets at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, Penny ends up going down to Orlando and doing his thing, moving down to that 3rd pick.
I'm glad you mentioned Webber in that conversation as well, because he wasn't willing to move or change his game like that. Andrew Wiggins was.
Yeah.
Because when you think of Andrew Wiggins, when he came into the league as volume scorer, Maple Jordan, get buckets. That's what he did first, second, and third. Not very efficient. Took a lot of tough shots. Wasn't a great 3-point shooter. Gets traded to Golden State. And still, I think, an upside swing for them, because if he can give you some creation, great, but he doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have Steph Curry doing a lot of creation. You grow into Jordan Poole doing some creation. Klay Thompson, his gravity attracts eyeballs. Draymond Green orchestrates.
The fact that he could do it without a freaking dribble.
Right.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
But that was another part. Yes. Go ahead.
Andrew Wiggins didn't have to be, and quite frankly, couldn't be the Andrew Wiggins I think he was in college or in Minnesota to fit in Golden State.
Yeah.
That's a credit to him. That's a credit to the organization to get him to buy into this new role, because he was, like you said, the most important player, non-Steph category, maybe even as important as Steph for the Warriors in last year's finals. That doesn't happen 10 years ago.
No question. I think that did change everything as far as the way I viewed it. And it's not easy to do. But here's the thing we talk about. The success of everything around you in your sphere still gets you to the bag.
Does.
See, and that's the thing that a lot of young people miss.
They don't believe it.
They don't believe it. They don't trust them. They don't trust the process. They don't trust the methodology. And they ultimately end up flailing because you come across, look, most of those young men and women aren't going to be Allen Iversons.
There's one AI.
One that tried to be, and it's detrimental to him, and it might hurt his stock, is your guys in North Carolina. What do you call them?
The Tar Holes.
The Tar Holes. It's Caleb Love. Right?
Yep.
You have to believe that the system is going to look. I'm going to be honest. I didn't get drafted. I mean, let's just be real about it. My freaking draft class was crazy. 96.
Nuts.
It's nuts, right? My draft. So me not getting drafted was not the problem. I knew I could play in the league. But what I'm saying is that freaking when you look at everybody that's coming through that's the cycle and through this whole process, you've got to understand that those young men and women, without me going to the Garden and us winning an NIT, I probably don't even show up on the radar. And the success of the team is what kind of put me in the ire, because guess what? It's an easy trek for most scouts to go up to New York and sit in the Garden and do some scouting.
And they enjoy it.
So that's why I think most guys need to understand that the success. I mean, you can go back and look at the Butler days. You can go back and look at Bryce Drew and all this stuff. And Valpo. I mean, you can just track the whole history of it and understand that's how it works. But most guys don't. The AAU systems have really just blown the minds of some of these kids.
Do you think it's that they don't know how to fit into a team concept? Do you think it's they don't want to learn? Because to me, that's a big difference.
I think it's a little bit of both. I also think it's the lack of accountability amongst the coaches. I also think it's a parent issue. This is why I love the company that I have a stake in, Cerebral Sports, because you can have real live conversations. Cerebralsports.com. Those of you who are listening, if you want to just check out and see what we do. We do recruiting analytics as well as draft modeling and all that type of stuff, right? Like, we knew Luka Doncic was Luka Doncic. We knew before he got Bobo. We knew Bobo was Bobo. No one knew how to use him. We knew he was who he is. We saw it in the analytics. And what I'm saying is, that's why I love it, because now it also empowers Austin. It empowers coaches, because the one things coaches have never had is they've never had the ability to really have a report card, so to speak, on the players, right? Yes, you have natural stats, but in AAU, guess what happens to those stats? They mark them and they toss them in the trash after they've marked who won the game. They disappear, right? We've taken that and turned it into something. And what I'm saying is, now when a coach has a problem with a parent, come on into my office, step into my office, sit down with me, let's have a conversation. This is what it really looks like. He's inefficient here, he's inefficient there. There's the top player in the class. This is what his numbers look like. This is compared to yours. This is why he's not playing 30 minutes a game.
Week of practice.
You understand? Coaches, high school, AAU can now have serious conversations with parents and break them down, because what parents do when they're sitting up there, they're just looking at their kid. Some of them watch the whole, but they're not really observing the whole aspect of what's going on.
The ones that talk are watching their kid.
They got tunnel vision, right? And they're not seeing what the other kid is doing to the, you know what I'm saying? They've got tunnel vision. And guess what? A lot of parents are chasing NIL. Unfortunate. They're chasing NIL opportunities and upward moving opportunities. And the part that I hate in it is the transfer portal being like it is. You used to get to a place, stick it out, stay, fight, watch, grow, learn. I couldn't imagine, getting in the transfer portal after I left, after my freshman year. I just was like, no, my turn's coming, right? And that's the problem I hate with the whole way that this system is set up now.
And it doesn't have to be like that, but it's the system that we've allowed to exist.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Not unfortunate, the shootout with Strick got a chance to play. 402-464-5685, the digits for you to call, take on Strick in trivia. We'll play the game after this.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they are being with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planting season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685. Take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
That's right. Even though we're not on the radio, you still do have your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings by playing the Shootout with Strick. 402-464-5685. Calling out for your chance to play the trivia game. We are talking Masters today, so those of you who know some golf names will probably be better at this one than those who don't. I, for one, don't necessarily celebrate the Masters. I'm not a big golf guy. I respect it. I can name some athletes, but I've just never really gotten into golf.
I absolutely love golf. It is a favorite pastime of mine. It's one that, I've played out of the country and I've traveled. I've had a great time. It's one of those sports, Austin, that it's really you against the course. It's very peaceful. I actually negotiated my contract. It was me, Don Nelson. I had went out to play in summer league. I think I played 2 or 3 games. I averaged like 26. And my agent was like, you need to go to Denver also. Go to Denver, work out for them. And then, that'll raise the bar for Dallas, knowing someone else wants you, right? So I did that. So I did my thing in summer league, went out there to Denver. They called me back. I flew back. I met with Don Nelson. We went to the golf course. Me, Don, got to know each other, played golf. Then Don kicks me out of the cart and says, go into the clubhouse. I'm going to sit down with your agent. We got a deal done. It's a great place to really get a chance to just drop all of the fences or all of the things that you would normally do to block yourself or cut yourself off as far as not knowing somebody, and then just have a cigar, have a couple cocktails, swing a club, but it's you against the course. And I think it's beautiful. It's 3-4 hours though. I mean, it's just one of those things. You just got to get ready to know that you're going to be out there for a minute.
402-464-5685. Call now, play the shootout. While we wait, Strick, you mentioned that 96 draft class and just how loaded it is. I don't think people understand when you mean loaded.
Yeah.
The dudes in that class.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall, Allen Iverson.
Facts.
Okay. Number 2, Marcus Camby.
Yep.
Number 3, Sharif Abdur-Rahim.
4,
Stephon Marbury. 5, Ray Allen. 6, Antoine Walker. 7, Lorenzen Wright. 8, Kerry Kittles.
Yeah, just run those first 6. You're awesome. Lorenzen Wright probably didn't fill out. Kerry Kittles was an integral part of championship runs, going to multiple finals for New Jersey. Yeah.
Number 9, is it Samaki?
Oh, Samaki Walker. That was
Walker.
my teammate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Played
at Louisville.
Yep, we did have an Eric selected number 10. The wrong one, Eric Dampier.
Yeah, Dampier.
Oh, Dampier?
Yep.
It looks French.
It does.
Todd Fuller, Vitaly Potapenko. Started, I think, in Cleveland, and I played with him in Boston. He was on my Boston team, too. Okay. Number 13, Kobe Beaton.
Crazy, but that's how it is.
Number 14, Peja Stojakovic.
There he is. He shows up.
Number 15, Steve Nash.
Another teammate.
16, Tony Delk. 17, Jermaine O'Neal.
Teammate. I played with all of them.
Other notable guys in the first round, then Walter McCarty.
Teammate. Boston.
Big Z, Zadrunas Ilgauskas.
I thought his career was cut short just by injury, but he was a tremendous player. Yeah.
Derek Fisher goes 24th.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you know what that came out to be.
Jerome Williams played 9 years.
Detroit.
Yep. Went to Georgetown. Last pick of the first round, number 29, was Travis Knight from UConn.
Yeah.
Played 7 years. The first pick of the second round was Othello Harrington.
Yeah, that's who I was traded
G-Town.
for. Vancouver for him to New York. Yeah.
Other guys that played for a while, Moochie Norris.
Yep, down in Houston.
Drafted by Milwaukee, but known for Houston. Jeff McInnes. In Denver, you have Randy Livingston, drafted by Houston.
Injuries hurt him.
Yep. Malik Rose.
Big impact, big body. He's I think Malik now is he's a president of or GM for one of the organizations. Yeah.
Oh. And then the last guy to play double-digit years in the league was Shandon Anderson.
Shandon Anderson at Utah. Yeah, he was an integral part of Utah. They did a redraft, and in the redraft, I think I was 26.
Yeah.
In a redraft.
The actual 26th overall pick was Jerome Williams.
Yeah,
I'll take you over him.
They did a redraft. I thought that was pretty cool, to see yourself in a redraft. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But that's how it works out.
It is. We do have a contestant here for the shootout with
get it.
Strick. No legal ID needed, no break needed, because we are on the stream. Royals and Blue Jays still playing on the radio. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Caleb, are you with us here for the shootout?
Yeah, let's do it.
Excellent. We do not have the sounders, so I have a timer ready to go. I will put 40, usually it's 37 seconds. I will give you guys 45 seconds today.
All right.
There is a timer on my phone ready to go. Strick, round one of the shootout. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Round one begins in 3, 2, and 1. He's won the most Masters all time. Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus?
Nicklaus.
Yep. He shot the lowest score under par in Masters history. Dustin Johnson or Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods.
It's DJ. He was the first international golfer to win the Masters. Bernard Longer or Gary Player?
Longer.
It was Player. He was the last Masters winner to shoot over par. Zach Johnson or Jack Burke Jr.?
Johnson.
It was Johnson, and he's the most recent repeat Masters winner.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, what a pull. You got it, Strick.
Oh!
Nailed it.
Woo!
That's a 4-point round.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Caleb, 4 to tie, 5 or more to win. How you feeling about your odds?
Pretty good.
All right. Your round of the shootout begins here in 3, 2, and 1. He's won the third most Masters all time. Arnold Palmer or Tiger Woods?
Palmer.
Yep. He won the last Masters that went to a playoff. Sergio Garcia or Adam Scott?
Garcia.
Yep. He beat the runner-up by the most strokes in any Masters. Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus?
Woods.
Yep. He was the first European man to win the Masters. Seve Ballesteros or Nick Faldo?
Faldo.
It was Ballesteros, and he won last year's Masters.
Scheffler.
Wow. He did it. That is over. Caleb, tour de force. Well done.
He
well
knew it.
I knew the Sevy one too. I kicking myself.
Yeah, you could tell he's a golf connoisseur. Yeah, he drinks
Been
a lot of
watching
golf.
the Masters as long as I know.
That's incredible. Caleb, congratulations on the win. You dethroned the champ. Hold on the line. Rico will get your information. You've won $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Great job, Caleb. Yeah, man. He actually had them all. I think, I could tell he was confident. He was very confident about what he was going after. So yeah.
Here's the tiebreaker then, Strick, just for fun. How many strokes is par for an 18-hole round at the Masters?
72.
72. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Nailed it.
I know a little bit.
I know you know a little bit, but I didn't know if everyone would know that. So
Dang it, I wish I could have got to that. I would have won.
You would have nailed it.
I would have nailed it.
Good performance, though. The champ could be back in a few days.
Yeah, we'll get back once the Royals are done,
We'll have to see.
We'll see.
That'll put a bow on hour one. Coming up in hour two, we will talk some Huskers, some football and basketball. We'll also talk to Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports before we cross it over. I believe Jay and Kenny will be in the building. So we'll do all that hour two on the block next.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them for today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin daydreaming about how they'll spend the prize money if they win, instead of attention to the road. So please, when I tell you that Nebraska Lottery lotto games offer big money and big fun, keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like good sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a new computer, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required as they will train for the positions. However, mechanical aptitude is required. If you want to come be a part of a small business where you're family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat. With packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8, and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb-roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Clint.
And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show. Thanks for dialing in to us here on the stream. Royals and Blue Jays in the middle of the 8th inning. So we'll be back on the radio before too long here. Should mean that all of Old School should be on the radio. But thanks to all of you for pulling up the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, even though we are maybe slightly harder to find. But hey, pulls up on your desktop. All sorts of ways you can do that. Also, download our app. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. You get all the great content. And again, just a great way to keep track of everything that we're doing here at 93.7 The Ticket. Big shout out to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, Charles and all his people down there at 27th and Pine Lake in Lincoln. Go tell them we say hi. Tell them we sent you. We'd appreciate that. They would appreciate that. It'll be worth your while every time. Every single
time.
Plenty to get to here in hour number 2 of the show, where we'll talk some Huskers here in this segment. And then about 3:25, we will bring in Andrew Alex, talk maybe some NCAA hoops, maybe some Virginia Tech spring football headlines. We'll play it by ear, see how Rangers feeling today, see what we can pick his brain about.
Yeah. Throw some things out at.
He's versatile.
He's very versatile. He has a great grasp of all things athletics. I definitely want to ask him about this Nebhart situation as we dig into that.
Let's start there. Yeah, Ryan Nembhard, Creighton point guard in the transfer portal. That's a big blow. He went out at the end of the season 2 seasons ago. Creighton makes a run despite him being hurt, Kalkbrenner being banged up as well. They fight to the end, losing the NCAA tournament. Comes back this year, a lot of reason for optimism around that. Creighton makes it to the Elite Eight, a point short of the Final Four, and seemingly out of the blue, at least for me, it was out of the blue.
Me too.
He gone.
And it just, it's weird. It's weird that you are the lead point guard. So it just speaks volumes to me that it has to be something that is going on behind the scenes. Some conversations about guys they're trying to bring in. Somebody maybe showed up on campus that kind of threw them for a little loop. Because it's weird when you're that guy. I mean, you're the guy that's basically helped to lead them down the deep waters, and you've got a great portion of your team coming back, at least the core portions, and you shoot out and want to bounce. I will say that sometimes there are not greener pastures. I think situations like Marquise Noel, it was always upward mobility opportunity for him. He just found himself in the perfect situation where the perfect storm just happens, where everybody meshes. And it's just, it requires great leadership. It requires guys similar to what they did in Nebraska. I mean, there's no one thought Nebraska would be 500 this year. I don't care if you're on the stream, if you can't hear us on the radio today, but if you're on the stream today, I venture to say that most of you listening had no idea that Nebraska was going to be 500 this year. But it took guys, with that bleed red type of mentality that I told you about. This is the thing that I think has been missing. I think it's been missing because you've got those, which we were, those Nebraska kids that just, they're fighting for Nebraska. When we showed up in Vegas and we went and played in these AAU small, these tournaments, everybody was looking at us like, rolling their eyes like, oh yeah, we're going to beat the brakes. And we go out there and beat their heads in. And that's the type of, fight that, a lot of these kids have. Look at a rope, Gwick, these guys have that type of fight, but we just somehow have let them just trickle out and find their way. And now it's like they need that again. They need just a combination of guys, character guys that come in, a combination of some super athletes and some bleed red guys. And it needs to be a hodgepodge, a mix, where they come together, unite, one front. And I think it has to be the same thing in football.
Regardless,
I think
of
it's just
sport.
a pattern that has to be for Nebraska.
Absolutely. For Nebraska, absolutely. But really, regardless of who you are or
right?
where you are,
yeah,
you've got to have that, unity of purpose is a phrase we've heard around here a lot. Why are you there? Why are you doing what you're doing? And why did you choose to do it with this group of players and this coach?
Yeah.
It has to be there. I mean, Nembhard leaving Creighton out of the blue, like you said, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes, or maybe goals were out of alignment. Right? My guess is it's not going to be for more minutes or more shots. I mean, according to KenPom, he played 84.5% of Creighton's available minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He shot like 1 out of every 5 shots when he was on the court, which ended up being 4th highest on the team. That's a lot of shots still.
Yeah.
A high usage player, clearly very important. And that's where I hope that it's about, all of a sudden misaligned goals, or he heard from one of his buddies that's going to go to a different school that he wants to team up with because he wants to play with him. I don't know. As long as it's not for the sole purpose of NIL, okay, fine. Shrug it off. No big deal. But if it's, I can get a bigger bag over here, but my role's going to be the same, if not reduced. Like we've been saying, that just makes me feel,
And you have to also add in the fact that one of their backup guards is leaving in Mitchell.
Sharif.
You see what I'm saying? So it's something. There's something going on that they're not happy about or they don't feel good about. But here's the thing. It seems to me that Arizona just traded the same type of player for let one go, high assist guy, great shooter, for a high assist type of guy, good leader. strong leadership skills, but not very good shooter, streaky.
Nembhard turns it over less and shoots worse.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out if he does make that move, like, you know, I don't think you won in that deal, but who am I? I'm not.
So if it does end up being Arizona for Ryan Nembhard, Tommy Lloyd recruited Andrew Nembhard, his brother, to Gonzaga from Florida. Andrew Nembhard, the Nembhards are Canadian, started up there. Andrew went to Florida, transferred to Gonzaga. Don't know if he was there 1 year or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's that connection, but again, what kind of communication was that? Was this a Ryan Nembhard decision, or was this decision like, hey, you want to transfer, buddy? I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but for all the reasons we've laid out, it just feels a little, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes you say, So yeah, that's something that's just kind of throwing me for a loop.
A disappointing move, I think, in the transfer portal too for Nebraska fans specifically. I'm sure there are plenty rejoicing over Ryan Nembhard leaving. Jamison Battle announced his commitment today. He's going to the Big Ten. He's staying in the Big Ten, I should say. He's going to be wearing red, but he's going to be an Ohio State Buckeye.
Oh yeah,
that to me, Strick, is a bummer. He could have been fun at Nebraska.
Yeah, I thought Jamison would have been very nice in Nebraska. Listen, Nebraska was better than Ohio State. So that's why it's really odd. Like you left for the potential to go to Ohio State, where they weren't very good last year.
No.
What did you see that? Now it could be that he don't like to play defense. Could be because if he came
sees
here,
Bryce Sensabaugh leaving, wants to take those shots.
You know what I mean? You come here, it's like, you know, you're going to have to sit down and squat. Whereas maybe he just wants to shoot. Maybe he just wants to, you know, play lackluster D, and because that's what it looked like for Ohio State to me. They didn't do anything spectacular or special to me. But that, you know, you just went from Minnesota to Ohio State. Okay. I mean, we weren't too much further than that, but I think he would have been a tremendous fit. If you saw what Derek Walker was able to do on this team and you're Jamison Battle, I'm thinking about that's what I'm going to go replace. He's leaving. They let him handle the ball the way that they let him handle it. He was able to kind of do his thing. Yeah, set some screens, but he can't do what I do in stretching the floor. So now I'm getting all of that inside smoke on top of stretch. Man, I'm all for that smoke.
And from a Nebraska standpoint, a scoring wing always helps. Nebraska doesn't really have a scorer on the wing right now. So getting him would have been huge from that. So it couldn't have been about role or opportunity, I wouldn't think.
No, I don't think it was definitely about that. So, you know, one thing Ohio State's got, cashola. They got some cashola.
Flush with it.
So, you know, I maybe you wanted to be part of the Buckeye crew and tap in on some of that rich cashola that's up there, but I don't see no other reason why you would choose them.
A new transfer portal target for Nebraska from today, a player by the name of Javian McCollum. He's a guy that played at Siena for the last couple of years. He will visit Nebraska from April 15th to the 17th. He will also go to Oklahoma this weekend. The article that I'm reading says Nebraska has had McCollum on its radar since they saw him in Orlando back in November, playing for Siena. McCollum had 18-8 against Florida State. Siena beat them, and 24-8 against Ole Miss in a loss to the Running Rebels. He's 6'2", 155. Not a big guy. That's essentially my size, Strick. And I'm for the average person, I'm bigger, but for a college basketball player, that's a little spindly.
Yeah. I can't even speak on that too much, but one that I found was interesting was Banger, the type of guy that I think and really liked when I got a chance to see him was Efton Reed from Gonzaga, the center there. That young man, he just was a scrapper, a hustler. He fought.
Well, he started at LSU.
You know what I'm saying? For me, he was just kind of that. He's that kind of. He has the NBA size. He's not super athletic, but that's not what you need because he's got great footwork and great touch. He's got those components that I thought would be a good fit. He's capable of defending out to the three. So I really like some things about the young man that he's now popping his head back out there. Was a 5-star guy, number 4 out of Florida, number 3 center overall and 27 nationally. So he's got some talent. I really liked him when I got a chance to see him play. Where he ends up, I don't know, but that's somebody I would have been looking at.
I completely missed that he was in the portal. That's a big body that would help you get through that Big Ten regular season grind at the very least.
Facts. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about too.
Absolutely. That'll be a good first segment here on the block. We'll step aside. We'll get Andrew Alex on the line. Plenty to chat with Double A about. Hope he's all ready to go, all home safe and sound. So we'll get him on the horn. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
You know that feeling after a good hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides. Shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership. sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Our sales, precision ag, parts, and service teams are ready to serve you this planning season. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block. He's Strick and Austin Orman here. It is closing down on Thursday. The time is definitely flying by. Beautiful day outside. The Royals are going nuts on the radio station, so this is where you'll find us on the stream today. We are live, and joining us on the stream yard line is Double A Andrew Alex. What's going on, my friend?
Strick, my guy, how are you?
Doing wonderful, man. Just a lot of stuff happening out there. Some topics we jumped in on. We'll probably do a bounce around, a shoot around, and just kind of tap in on a lot of different areas. But first and foremost, what was your ultimate thoughts about UConn and the way that they just handled business during this NCAA tournament? And give me your thoughts on FAU and what they would, what the prospects of them of making another run next year.
Well, Strick, I'll tell you this. First of all, I apologize for our inability to chat last week. I was in Chicago with the great Nathan Brennan. We were in a high-rise visiting a friend, and the high-rise made me lose cell phone service. But I'm upset about it because I really wanted to talk about the Final Four going in and how impressed I was with Florida Atlantic, because I think I had picked the Final Four pretty accurately last time we were in. And I think I picked FAU at the time as a joke, but I was right.
Yeah.
So good for me. But nonetheless, on the topic of UConn, the team was about as hot of a basketball team as I've ever seen. And I think that given the nature of the tournament, given the seeds that they beat to win, you're not in the conversation of best teams of all time. It's certainly one of the most impressive runs of all time, just whomping every team in their path by double digits. And it's crazy to think, and I know that you guys out there in Nebraska are familiar with Big East basketball because of the proximity to the great university that is Creighton, that this is a UConn team who, came out the gate extremely hot. They got up to number 2. And then during a 25-day period, from December 31st to January 25th, went 2-6. From January 26th all the way to the end, they lost 2 more times after that.
Yeah.
And they never lost before. So it's so wild to see a team that we saw that dominant, really hit that kind of hurdle that they did. And it speaks to the competition in the Big East.
Right.
I mean, I think it also speaks to, the way that you put a team together and, you'll get minor injuries, teams get knocked up in the middle of the season. And also, the transfer portal is just developing that chemistry. But ultimately, he did it. And when I say he, I mean Dan Hurley over there at UConn. in a way that is probably the most sustainable path forward in college basketball.
Mhm.
And that's developing players over a span of years. You get your core, you develop your core within your system, and then right when you feel like you're knocking on the door, you bring in those transfer guys who essentially, like, you feel compliment the guys that you already have are good.
Right.
And that's exactly what UConn did.
Right.
So more power to them. Credit to Dan Hurley. Credit to the UConn basketball program as a whole, who I think really, can stake their claim in the blue blood conversation. I mean, they have as many championships as Duke. They have more than Kansas, and they have one less than Kentucky and North Carolina.
Right.
I think the only difference is that, UConn has had a little bit of ups and downs, but that's still 4 championships in the 21st century. And I mean, like, 5 championships in strict was in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
They're the most dominant team of recent memory.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to winning it all at the end. It's not like Duke and Kentucky and Kansas where, they're just going to be written into the top 10 in the preseason and probably end up as a top 3 seed at least year in and year out. But I mean, sky's the limit for this program right now. And really, my hat's off to them for, despite the obstacles they faced during the season, playing through it, getting better, because it's not about how you play in January, but how you play in March. Boy, did they play well.
That's big facts. Let's shift over and talk a little bit about the NBA right now. In the NBA, which side of the first question, which side of the conference is most scary for you right now, and why? The East or the West?
I mean,
East or the West?
Taking a look at the NBA here, Strick. First of all, I love the parity. But when we talk about championship contenders, I'm probably, more prone to say the Eastern Conference, just because between Milwaukee, Boston, and Philadelphia, I see the 3 most likely championship contenders. For 3 of the 4, I think that the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, they've won 6 in a row, and maybe they enter that conversation. I mean, obviously they've been like a championship caliber team for the last few years. Now they've added Kevin Durant. They kind of have to be. But on the East Coast, I don't know. The Kings have no playoff experience. The Grizzlies with the John Morant saga, they're such a well-rounded basketball team. I don't know if they're equipped to make a run. And,
they don't play very well on the
just
road. They suck on the road. Like, that's what scares me about them. As good as they are at home, they just, to me, somebody
10 games under 500.
Yeah.
10 games under 500
Yes.
on the road.
Yes. That's what's weird for me about them. I think I don't know if it's they enjoy, little fun and sun and fun wherever they may be or whatever the case may be, but they stink on the road.
Yeah, exactly. So again, with the issues that we've seen with John, the drama there, and their inconsistency and inability to win on the road, I think that in the right situation, Kevin Durant is going to be able to have his way. And Strick, with that being said, I just think that the path really run, like, even though Phoenix might not have a home, it's like Phoenix or Denver, whereas on the East Coast, Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia, you could throw Cleveland in there.
That was my sleeper. Cleveland's my sleeper. They're like the ones that I think that can just do some damage and get hot. If you're talking Eastern Conference, in the Western Conference, my sleeper is Golden State. Like, with the return of Wiggins, if Wiggins can get back to form like he gave them last year, and if they can, somehow get Gary Payton II healthy, then you're looking at a similar team that you pretty much had last year to make a run. So they could be dangerous sitting there just at that 6th spot.
Oh yeah, and I think anyone would be foolish to sleep on that. With Cleveland, it's like this might not be their year, but they're set up to be good for so long. With Golden State, like you said, you throw Wiggins back into the mix. I mean, that's a team that just won a championship. Just won a championship. So at the end of the day, the NBA playoffs are about making the playoffs. And, the Golden State's had their ups and downs. I don't think that, let's just say that they're the 6th seed now, right? And they're playing Sacramento in the first round.
Right.
Where do you think Vegas goes? Where do you think Vegas goes on that, right?
Exactly.
Golden State's going to be the favorite to it.
What one quick buy or sell? It's a double buy or sell. Buy or sell the Mavericks sneak in, and buy or sell that the Mavericks keep Kyrie Irving.
The Kyrie Irving experiment has not been a tremendous one for the Dallas Mavericks, right? I think it's left a lot of people scratching their head. There's two on-ball guys, and I think it's just done more harm to the chemistry of that team than good, as bad as their supporting cast was before. So let me see where they are in the standings.
They're right there tied with Oklahoma City. Same record, 38-42, but I think Oklahoma has the tiebreaker against them.
Okay, so when we say sneak in, do we mean like get into the
do they get into the playoff? Do they get into the play? I don't think they would advance past the play in, but
So I'll go ahead and buy that they'll get into the play in because they have more incentive to win than the Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Like the Thunder, go get a lottery pick and keep adding
right
to the stockpile of young talent that you have. Whereas, Mavericks are kind of like, well, you know what? We have Luka Doncic. Just put us in there and see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll buy them getting in, sell them advancing through, and certainly sell them hanging on to Kyrie Irving. I think I've known Kyrie for my entire life. He's like a bit older than me, but I remember watching him in high school. My dad's a Duke alum. I remember watching him at Duke, obviously early on in the NBA, playing alongside LeBron James, who was tremendous. But I don't know. He's got to do a little bit of self-reflection at some point. I hope for the best for him.
All right.
Andrew, switching gears another time here to spring football out there in Blacksburg. Year 2 with Brent Pry. What was on the docket for improvement this spring?
Well, you know what? Everything. Because, when you have the lowest offensive Power 5, you guys all watched Iowa play football last year. You saw Iowa play offense. Yeah, we actually were worse. We were actually worse than that. So at this point, we have the returning starter at quarterback. We have transfer Kyron Drones, former 4-star guy from Baylor, one of the better quarterbacks in the portal. They're duking it out at pretty much every skill position on the offensive side of the ball. Is just a completely new cast of characters. Transfers coming in, Ali Jennings from Old Dominion, who was at West Virginia before that. He projects to possibly be one of the best wide receivers in the ACC, something that Virginia Tech didn't have last year. A couple other guys around him, and you hope that some of the younger talent can elevate itself, battle at the running back position. But ultimately, this was a team that, we're not super talented last year. As happens when you have a coaching change, sometimes the cupboard is left a little bit bare for year one. So I'm not here to sound any kind of alarms just yet. But, ultimately, we just want to see steady improvement, hopefully be able to get back into a bowl game. I think that if they do not get back into the bowl game, which would mean they would have their second losing season in a row, which would be the 2 losing seasons that we've had in the last 30 some odd years. So we might be sounding the alarms at that point, but I think it's time for Tyler Bowen and that offensive group to really try to get it together and make some strides, because it was incredibly painful, like pulling teeth, to watch them try to advance the football forward last year, and it can't be like that this year, especially with some of the young talent they have coming back on the defensive side of the ball. I think the defense should be fine, and Brett Bryant's a defensive coach, so I have trust in that. But it's getting the offense going, and for the staff as a whole, game management, just generally, there were some gaps there. For the team in general, way too many penalties. Most penalties committed in the ACC by extremely large margin, it was once again painful to watch. So they need spring practice about as much as any team in the country, guys. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it up to the spring game next week. It's been the first one I've missed in like 10 years, but I'll be interested to check out the film afterwards and see how these guys look, because the team has a lot of questions, and hopefully some of them will be answered here shortly.
How have the team, potential recruits, and the fans responded to Brent Pry in his first offseason as head coach?
I think the recruiting has been fine. The goal was to, obviously, recruiting is a multi-year process, and you're on some of these kids beginning their sophomore year. So it's you're kind of coming in late in the game. They were able to make a bit of a splash, bit of improvement. I think the recruiting is going to be fine. This upcoming class is going to be even bigger for Virginia Tech. I think that's where on the recruiting trail we really expect him to take another step forward. On the other side of the equation, the fans, Virginia Tech fans are as irrational as any college football fan base, but I give them credit, and most of them are not sounding the alarms just yet. That's why this is a big year, because again, if they don't show some kind of improvement, if they're going out there and a lot of the games Tech played last year, it really was glaringly obvious in the first half that they didn't have a chance to win. Though the team improved over the course of the year, there were games in the second half of the season where they shot themselves in the foot. And when you're shooting yourself in the foot constantly, you blame that on coaching. So hopefully we don't see that this year. I think the fan base's expectations are tempered. They just want a team that they could be proud of again. And I think most know that's not going to happen overnight. But so yeah, no one's gone through his head just yet, despite the fact that year one wasn't. Again, it was the worst season they've had in like 30 some odd years. So no one was super happy about it, but I feel like a lot of people still feel like he has the coaching chops and the right personality to lead the program. And I think that they're going to keep the faith. But again, if things don't improve, come December, we could be having a different conversation.
A few last things. I found a couple things interesting. One, what's your thoughts on Hunter Silas and him going into the transfer portal? And also the oddity for me of Ryan Nimhart jumping into the transfer portal. So we're going to talk a little bit about some Nebraska kids, being that you're at 247 Sports. We have Andrew Alex joining us on the line from 247 Sports. So been looking over the transfer portal. And then lastly, a target for Nebraska was Jamison Battle out of Minnesota, who finds himself going over to Ohio State. And that's interesting to me. But you kind of had a losing program, and they didn't do too well. They don't look to have like this crazy upside to me based on anything that they have. I could be wrong, but what's your thoughts on those three young men and the prospects of possibly where they could go, or what would be a good fit for them stylistically, so forth and so on?
Yes, Rick. And the specifics on each individual, obviously, like I wish I was plugged into those conversations in the living room. But ultimately, for Nebraska kids like a Hunter Salas, like it's going to come down to conversations about style of play, where he fits, where he feels like he could be, most elevated within his game. And I think the hometown factor plays a role. Obviously, Gonzaga is a tough place to get some action. It's a very talented team. And, the reality in 2023 is when you're a talented basketball player, you're not seeing the court well, you're going to adjust accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what certain universities can promise, right? Like, if I'm Hunter Salas and I go and I'm having that conversation with, say, Coach McDermott over at Creighton, is being in Omaha enough? Like, probably not. It probably is going to have to require a coach to lay out that vision
Yeah.
for what it looks like for you. And quite frankly, sometimes it doesn't work out. And that's why the transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal taketh away. And I love these kids' opportunity to move forward. But I mean, I'll give you a great example of something that just happened because I have to work this in somehow to bring this up. But Ashley Owusu on the women's side was an All-American at Maryland. For whatever reason, she was dissatisfied with Maryland, despite the fact that she was getting a lot of playing time. She transferred to Virginia Tech. She gets injured in the beginning of the season. And, there's other things that I'm sure play into it. Some people say she was out of shape, this, that, or the other. But ultimately, Virginia Tech gets hot. They start going on a run, and they kind of developed a style of play that was working without her. So ultimately, come the Final Four, you have this girl who was like the transfer that was supposed to change everything. And, through the ACC tournament run, through the March Madness run, and they didn't lose a game in the entire month of February prior. All of that, she really was riding pine, not even in the rotation. It sucks. But the coach's job is to put the team in the best position to win the game, right? And so you have people who aren't necessarily going to see the court, despite whether they're talented, because it's what brings the team together. So that's why it's hard for anyone. I think it's hard for a player to make a decision when you're coming out of a situation where you didn't feel like you had it, and you have to look at the team and be like, where do I fit in here? So of course, everyone also wants to be on the national stage, and everyone also wants to win. So
right.
I'll be watching those names in a big way, and I'm sure that you're hoping for a guy like Salas to make a trip about 45 minutes south of his hometown and hang out in Lincoln. I think that could be something for a Nebraska team that obviously picked up a lot of steam at the end of the year. I mean, that could be an instant jolt. That could be an instant jolt. And you look at Kansas State, and you can change your program on an instant jolt. Like no one on that Kansas State Elite Eight team was even a factor.
Remember, right?
They didn't even start their career there. So it's really, it's great for off-season content. I'll tell you that much, because it's the shuffle, but it also makes things, so hard to project. But credit to FAU, everyone on FAU except for one kid who I think played one season. The tall Russian guy played one season at Texas Tech before transferring 2 years ago. But FAU was FAU's exact same team from last year. They just got coached up and they got better, and more power to them. So shout out to FAU, and shout out to my Virginia Tech women's basketball team. First Final Four in school history. Liz Kitley, Georgia Amor, Kayla King, all coming back. Going to do it again.
Love it. Great stuff, Andrew Alex. Thank you so much for showing up today. I know and understand that when you get with the Hokie in our favorite guy, he ain't my favorite because he still owes me some stricken. But we know when you get with him, we know it time just kind of gets by you a little bit. And but we appreciate you as always. 247 Andrew Alex, thanks for joining us on the block.
Thank you, Strick. You should have seen me and Nathan at a bar in Chicago cheering for Virginia Tech women's basketball. People might have thought we were crazy, but always a good time with you guys. And I thank the big Homer goofball for introducing us so we can do this every week.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. We'll hope to talk to you again next week. That is Andrew Alex, 247 Sports, joining us on the block. We'll be right back. 937 The Ticket. We are on the block. We'll be right back.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, you know what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light and new Silverado light-duty trucks. All trim levels have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light-duty trucks right now at Koppel, so do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck, so stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with Brew Credit.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit, and you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour. An opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our institute. We can even do on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You were so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless in damages when it can. Call on Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mix concrete, Husker concrete. Nebco offers great medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Attention all Wings fans! 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 937 The Ticket, FM.com.
There we go. Maybe I've turned the right mic on. There we go. We're good. I know how to do this. 93.7 The Ticket on the Block, back with you one last time. Royals and Blue Jays coverage just wrapping up on the radio. Kenny and Jay will be with you on the radio the whole time and on the stream, as always. Kenny in studio, welcome in. How you doing today?
All right, and you?
Not bad.
How
Not
you guys
bad.
doing?
Not bad.
Doing wonderful today, man. Beautiful day, starting to spawn outside. Got my first heavy workout in yesterday.
How'd you feel?
What I've noticed, Kenny, is it's really about the fuel. Because normally after that, the type of rigorous workout that I just went through, I would be sore as a mug right now. But I went and got some really good supplements. Then the food that I ate, it wasn't like, crazy. And I actually woke up feeling not bad. I mean, I've got some soreness a little, but it's not like I normally would feel after having a crazy. Now, talk to me in day 3. We might be a different outcome. You know what I mean? Let me just talk to you about this, man, because there's a sport that's spawning, and it's just it's a craze right now. A lot of people used to talk about badminton and just differently, but pickleball right now is there's like these big pickleball facilities, big tournaments popping off everywhere. Just give us a breakdown on the phenomenon on pickleball.
Man.
Like, what is it about it that just has people going crazy right now?
I think it's a smaller space. I know a lot of older
people.
So instead of tennis.
Yep, a lot of older
Okay.
people are doing it. I know I play racquetball, and a lot of guys have said, "Have you tried pickleball?" And I was like, "Nah, it's just." So it's crazy you say that. There was a video of some older people
Yeah.
playing pickleball, and one of the ladies just bit it into the
Oh,
net.
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was a
no.
video.
No.
I saw it on the way in. Somebody posted it, but it was a video of a lady playing pickleball, and her feet got tangled, and she went right into the net.
Mm.
Now, she was a heavier set lady, but
Mhm.
More ladder drills. Don't get those feet tangled.
more
bags.
ladder drills, more bags. But I haven't succumbed to that yet. Knock on wood. My knees are continue to hold up with racquetball, but there's a big pickleball court off of Highway 2 and 27th behind the Highway Diner in that park.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I pulled through that and I was like, where are all these cars going? So I drove through there and it was about 20, 30 people waiting to play. And,
Wow.
and the courts were full. And I was like, wow. So yeah, it's a phenomenon now. I have yet to try it. Have you tried it?
I've played it.
You have?
I'm not gonna say that I'm a connoisseur, but as I start to kind of really get back into my mojo a little bit, being at the shows at 2 to 4, if I could do it, I'd do it in the morning time. Go out, get an hour and a half in of some pickleball work. But like I said, I'm about to start refereeing again, so I've been really working on getting back into shape. Expanding those lungs,
eating right.
Eating right. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, I may make a run. Watching. Well, let me just say two things. I saw segments, and it's kind of crazy that I knew this was going to happen, bro. I was watching NBA referees, and there was a guy that just really just broke down how bad they really are on just bad calls. There are a lot of Ralph Tresvants, a lot of sensitivities. They're calling,
For those that don't know what he meant by Ralph Tresvant, he's a singer, artist, New Edition, went solo. He had a song called Sensitivity.
Yeah.
And
so it goes, see, we can't play it.
No, we can't play
but
it.
It goes, you need a man with sensitivity, a man like refs. That's what it basically, it's crazy. Bunch of these refs, man, they're just like, I've seen like Jason Tatum just kind of said, dang, and just clapped. And they gave him a T. Freaking Luka Doncic is talking to his own player. Man, come on. Tech, I'm seeing just the craziest things from these refs.
Is it that they want to be too involved in the game, or that if they want to put their spin on it, or is it just
so that's where it gets to what I was. So I was in G League training. I went for G League training. I'm glad they didn't. When I look at things and I watch games and I still, and now it's crazy. I love the fact, Kenny, that I get to watch the game, Austin, from a multifaceted way. I get to watch it from a player standpoint. I get to watch it from a coaching standpoint. Like, what strategies would the coach do in this situation based on the adjustments that need to be? Then I get to watch it from a referee standpoint. I know where they're at. I know where they should be. I know a call that they made that they should not have put a whistle on that because I know you didn't see that. You guessed. I can do those type of things now. And when I'm watching some of those refs, they're very book smart. Right? Meaning most referees probably didn't play the game. They're chasing the job. So they're very good in their rules, in their books. They can quote it, all of the specific fouls and the things to look for and all the attention to details, all that stuff. Yes. But where a good referee's great is the ability to ref the gray. It's not black and white, right? It's yes, that's a foul, but what was the extent of the foul and what advantage did it create or didn't create, right?
Break it down, brother.
There's just things that you can watch and say, okay, yeah, that's a foul, but the guy retained the ball. That's not one. This man has 3 fouls in this situation. That's not one. Oh, there's a little slight bump there. Yes. Technically, that's a foul, but he got the rebound. There's a rebound that goes to the other side, and there's some bumping and grinding on this side.
Yes.
And guys are calling fouls when they have no chance at the ball.
Didn't affect the play.
It didn't affect the play. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm knowing all of these different things, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad they didn't raise me up. But I might make a run at college again.
Really?
I might. Watching some of the refs.
It happens in all sports. I mean, you can see stuff in football that, like, come on, ref, that didn't have no effect on the play.
Yeah,
it's all the way over there. Let it go. But I refereeing is hard.
It is.
It's hard.
It's not easy.
I won't say that they got an easy job to do, but I do watch basketball, and some of the stuff that they be calling, I'm like, what in the heck?
Yeah,
but.
And I saw in the women's game, and I know we have people, that are probably here that listen from Iowa, so forth and so on. The refs were bad on both sides, so I can't. You can't say that was a ref game that cost Iowa that game. No, freaking your strategy that worked against South Carolina didn't work against LSU. Let's just call it with spade a spade.
LSU had better shooters from outside.
Well, not necessarily that they were better, but that night they banged your head out.
Yes, so
you didn't make the adjustment.
You
tried to play the zone. You tried to play off of them. You let them shoot, and God darn it, she went nuts.
I think I saw them in and one time I saw Iowa on defense. And it was like a triangle and one.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Yeah, they were doing all the gimmicks.
Yeah, so they were trying to throw everything at them, but I mean, LSU's bench, the two that came off the bench really sparked that.
Yeah, and listen, the whole tournament, they only averaged 6 points, 5.6 points a game off the bench. They had in the first half over 20.
Yes. And old girl didn't miss
like 25 or something.
She was 5 for 5.
Yeah, and probably didn't do nothing the rest of the game. So that's
no, she didn't.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the game. That was all you needed.
But that's all she gave them that spark.
That's all you
and got them the lead that they didn't relinquish.
Absolutely.
They close it out.
Throw a couple things out there. I'm gonna throw this out because this is of interest, and then we'll get to old school and get your thing going. Unless we, delve into another topic or two, because I like talking to Kenny Wilhite. I love my guy Jay Foreman. Jay Foreman is. He's not here. It's Thursday. I was hoping that he would talk me in the stand, but he ain't here, so I might hit the road. So listen. I've been thinking about the tight end position because my partner Austin Orman threw out like kind of what are some things that I'd like to keep my eyes on, and I oh Lord,
you could talk him up. Talked him up.
That's my man. 50 grand. Boy, I tell you what, you must have heard me say something. It was, I'm gonna walk in and steal the show.
Nah, man. I was listening to you.
So check this out, man. For both of y'all, but the tight end position was of high interest to me, and it seems that Coach Rule is high on Fedone, but I wanted to see what Eric Gilbert is about, and I'm hearing he's doing some great things, but they don't know for sure if they're going to be able to get him. Is that going to be a problem?
What do you mean you're doing?
No, he's a second-time transfer. Still needs a waiver.
So there needs a waiver.
But he practicing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be high. I wouldn't be practicing.
No.
See, I ain't coming nowhere unless you got my waiver.
But they put themselves in that situation. They shouldn't have taken him
if they didn't know.
If there's any question,
sure.
Yeah.
There's any question. You don't.
So Georgia has to release him. What?
It's on the NCAA.
It's on the NCAA. If you're a two-time transfer, he hasn't graduated, right?
No.
So if you're a two-time transfer, it's on the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean they've done it before. There's been a lot of people that kind of depends if they want to push it through. I think I'd like
being with his mental health situation.
Yeah, I ain't gonna talk nothing about that. Yeah, but I just think I'm gonna assume that they wouldn't have took him if they didn't have a kind of good assumption that they did they would go through. So I think the tight end position is going to be crucial. It's crucial with an offensive line that's a little as of right now. Just if they had to play a game tomorrow or Saturday, let's say that on the edges have been a little weak, and that's Teddy's been hurt for 2 years in a row, hadn't finished the season, and Bryce Benhart has been inconsistent, even though
Rule likes him. Somebody says he thinks he could be a pro.
What?
Yeah.
When he say this? Oh, see, Eric in here playing games, man.
No,
April Fool's is
no.
over with.
No.
See, look, man, I didn't come all the way in here and dodge
Here we
traffic
go.
on
Here we go. I have a
84.
quote from a
Yes,
24/7 article. They hear that a lot. I think Bryce, like all those guys on the offensive line, just has to play with great confidence. ... I see an NFL player. I see an all-conference player. The question is, does he see it? End quote.
Stricky ain't just throwing nothing out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I ain't gonna.
Is it that bad? Is it? I mean,
no, I don't know.
You don't know?
Mean, but
Okay.
well, here's what I say.
He struggled.
Here's what I say about this. He played probably better under Donnie last year. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
I did see him at least in a few games, because I remember talking to you. The second effort, and I saw him finishing some blocks, especially later in the season.
Mm-hmm. Does he have short arms?
Yes.
That's what I heard the problem was.
But he got
short arms.
Is it physical or is it mental?
Listen, there's a lot of guys that I went against in the NFL that got short arms that made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing with Bryce is that, like Coach Rule said, does he want it? Does he? Here's where it comes. It's like three things, and they all kind of they're in the same kind of like bought cookie dough. Number one, do you want to play football?
Yep.
And play football for real?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not participate, play. That's number one. These are all his choices. This is in his wheelhouse. Number one, do you love it? Which kind of goes with number one. So that's number two goes with number one. Number three, do you believe it? Which then starts with number one and number two. Number four, are you going to work hard at it? Again, it goes, and I will I saw one picture. His body looks significantly different than it did last year. He looks leaner. And I will say this, and granted, it was high school. Now I have a little bit more intel because his high school and my high school were rivals. They played in the state championship, it seems like every year. When he was in high school at 280 and 85 pounds, he could move, he could bend, he was flexible, he was physical, and he was getting down. He was a legit 4-star recruit. In my opinion, I felt like he was too big.
Oh, okay.
Which then affects your stamina, which affects your quickness, and so forth and so on. So
the leaning out should hopefully be good for
what Coach Rule says. Isn't totally not true.
Right.
And I think he would be a guard in the league, but I think if he takes to the coaching, anything can happen. There's been guys here that hadn't played worth a plum nickel and got drafted.
Yeah. There it is. Old School will be taking over right after us. Man, it was a great day today, Austin. What you think?
Couldn't say it by
You
myself.
guys back on the radio? Because I turned on the
Oh, yeah.
the
We're back
Royals
on the radio. Yep, you're on the radio all show.
All right.
There it is. We'll be streaming again tomorrow. I think the second half. The Royals will be playing at 3:00. We'll be on the radio tomorrow. Old School is about to take over, and stay tuned. They're going to have a great show for you. We are on the block, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We will see you tomorrow. Peace. We out of here. Go.
This is Win for Sports Talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID